Imagine she's standing right in front of you. To the casual observer, she's just there. Maybe she's quiet, maybe she's smiling, but to you, it's different. If you know what to look for, you can see that she isn't just standing there. She is projecting an unmistakable, silent energy. Her body is practically screaming desire, broadcasting a frequency of attraction that is loud, clear, and raw. Most men walk through life completely blind to this. They're stuck waiting for a woman to verbally announce her intentions, unaware that they are ignoring a constant, pulsating stream of information. Because they don't recognize the signs, they let the moment slip away, missing the most obvious openings of their lives. This isn't about guessing or playing complicated games. It is about decoding a language that is written into our very biology. When a woman is truly interested and sexually charged, her body reacts in ways she cannot fully control. She is sending out signals, micro movements, shifts in posture, and subtle behaviors that are designed to pull you in. If you could read these, you would never have to wonder if she likes you or if you should make a move. You would know with absolute certainty that she is waiting for you to bridge the gap. In the next few minutes, we are going to strip away the confusion and pull back the curtain on these silent cues. I am going to walk you through the specific physical signals that a woman's body leaks when she is genuinely aroused and longing for your touch. We are talking about obscure theories. We are talking about primal, hardwired reactions. These are the visceral signs that tell you she is ready for intimacy, often long before she even realizes she sent the message. By mastering these observations, you move from being a spectator in your own dating life to a man who is fully in control. You will stop living in the gray area of maybe and start acting with the confidence of a man who understands exactly what is happening in the room. This knowledge is your competitive edge. Pay close attention to these segments, internalize them, and you will never miss a real opportunity to connect with a woman ever again. The signals are already there. It's time you finally learned how to read them. Think of her lips as the primary control center for her unspoken sexual messaging. Most people dismiss a woman biting or licking her lips as a nervous tic or a mindless habit. But in the context of attraction, this is a massive red flag that you need to pay attention to. It is one of the most honest, unfiltered cues in the human repertoire. When a woman is feeling that initial surge of sexual interest, her body goes into overdrive. Her nervous system kicks into high gear, and her blood flow increases, causing her lips to become naturally fuller, softer, and more sensitive. This physical reaction is a biological response to the dopamine flooding her brain, and she is acutely aware of the sensation. The act of biting or licking her lips is her body's way of managing that overwhelming tension. It is a self-soothing mechanism, but more importantly, it is a desperate bid for your attention. She is literally bringing focus to the most intimate part of her face because she is thinking about what she wants to happen next. If you see her teeth gently pressing into her bottom lip, or if her tongue darts out to trace the line of her mouth while she is looking at you, she is not just being quirky. She is actively imagining what it would feel like to have your lips pressed against hers. She is painting a mental picture of intimacy, and she is projecting it directly onto you. This signal is so effective because it is almost entirely subconscious. She may not even realize she is doing it, which is exactly why it is so powerful. It bypasses her logical brain and reveals her raw, underlying state of mind. When she is locked into this behavior, her thoughts have shifted from casual conversation to deeply erotic territory. She is physically acting out the tension she is feeling, and she is waiting for you to notice. In those moments, she is inviting you to bridge the distance, to lean in, and to take the next step. When you see this happen, do not brush it off. It is a clear invitation, a silent signal that the atmosphere has changed. She is essentially telling you, without the risk of using words, that she is ready, and that her focus is entirely on you. The moment you acknowledge this signal by holding her gaze or closing the space between you, you are confirming that you see her desire and that you are ready to match it. That simple, repetitive motion of the lips is the gateway to everything that follows. It is the physical manifestation of her saying yes, long before she ever has to speak the word. When a woman is truly aroused, her need for physical closeness becomes impossible to hide. She will stop relying on distance and start using the most powerful tool she has: touch. This isn't just about proximity, it is about tactile testing. She is physically experimenting with your boundaries to see how you respond. You need to pay close attention to these moments because they are the bridge between social interaction and sexual intimacy. When she feels that spark of attraction, her brain releases oxytocin, the love hormone, which physically drives her to seek skin-to-skin contact. If you are sitting or standing near her, she will find or even invent reasons to bridge the physical gap between you. Watch for the accidental brush of her hand against your arm or thigh. On the surface, it might look like a coincidence, but in the context of attraction, there is no such thing as an accidental touch. A casual graze that lingers just a fraction of a second longer than necessary is a deliberate, calculated move. It is her way of testing the water to see if you pull away or if you lean in. If she gently brushes your neck, plays with the fabric of your shirt, or keeps her hand resting on your knee, she is effectively saying that she is comfortable with you, and more importantly, that she is craving a much deeper connection. As her level of arousal climbs, these touches will inevitably become more bold and provocative. Watch for how she moves toward the more sensitive parts of your body. If her hand wanders toward your lower back, or if she lightly touches your inner thigh, she is no longer just testing the water. She is diving in. These are not platonic gestures. They are high-stakes signals of sexual readiness. She is gauging your reaction to see if you have the confidence to match her intensity. When she ventures into these areas, she's practically begging you to acknowledge the shift in the room and take the lead. This is the phase where you must be observant and decisive. She is giving you the green light to drop the polite act and move into a more intimate space. If you ignore these signals, you are essentially telling her that you are not interested or that you are too intimidated to act, which can cause the momentum to die out instantly. Instead, when you feel that touch, respond to it. Don't pull away, don't act surprised, accept the invitation. A calm, confident reciprocation, such as placing your hand over hers or mirroring her movement, confirms that you are on the same page. These touches are the most direct communication she has. Learn to read them, and you will understand exactly where you stand in every interaction. The way a woman moves when she is sexually charged is one of the most primal, ancient signals of attraction in existence. You don't need a degree in psychology to see it. It is hardwired into your brain to recognize this shift. When she's aroused, her movement transforms. Her posture shifts, her stride lengthens, and her hips begin to sway in a rhythmic, fluid, and highly deliberate motion. This is not how someone walks when they are just trying to get from point A to point B. This is a broadcasted display, a signal designed to highlight her curves and pull your attention toward her body. She is effectively choreographing a visual narrative that places her femininity and her availability front and center. If you watch her closely, you will notice that this swaying motion becomes much more pronounced when she is aware that you are watching. It is a slow, hypnotic rhythm intended to hold your gaze. She isn't walking aimlessly. She is displaying. From an evolutionary perspective, this movement is the universal sign of fertility and sexual interest. By exaggerating the curve of her hips and adding that deliberate rhythmic sway, she is creating a visual hook. She wants your eyes on her, and she wants you to feel the tension that her body is radiating. Every step she takes in this state is a silent sensory invitation meant to tempt you into closing the distance between you. The brilliance of this signal lies in how it changes the energy in the room. When she enters your space with that fluid, swaying walk, the atmosphere becomes heavy with anticipation. She is showing off, but she is also testing your awareness. She wants to see if you are sharp enough to notice the change in her movement. If you are tuned into these subtle shifts, you realize that she is not just walking past you. She is inviting you to appreciate her, to acknowledge her, and ultimately to make a move. This is the moment where the dynamic shifts from observation to engagement. If you see her moving this way, understand that she is being intentional. She is putting her body on display because she wants you to be drawn in by the visual rhythm she is creating. A man who understands this signal doesn't look away out of shyness. He meets her gaze and understands that the invitation is active and real. That sway of the hips is her way of saying she is ready to be noticed. It is a bold, confident, and undeniably magnetic way to demand your full attention. And when she does this, she is waiting to see if you have the confidence to step up and meet her energy. The eyes are the most honest window into a woman's true intentions, and they are virtually impossible for her to fake. When a woman is feeling genuine sexual attraction toward you, a fascinating, involuntary biological reaction occurs. Her pupils physically dilate. This isn't something she chooses to do. It is an automatic response triggered by the brain as it releases a massive, rapid flood of dopamine, the chemical responsible for pleasure and reward. As her brain registers the excitement of being near you, her pupils widen to take in more of what she is looking at. If you look closely and see those dark, dilated pupils, you are looking at the direct evidence of her internal chemical state. She is not just looking at you, she is experiencing a high-level physiological response to your presence. Beyond the biology of the pupil, the way she uses her gaze is a roadmap to her deepest fantasies. If she holds your gaze for just a second or two longer than what is socially comfortable, she is deliberately breaking the polite barrier of casual interaction. This lingering gaze is her way of testing the electricity between you. But watch even closer for the most revealing move of all, the flicker. When her eyes drop down to your lips and then pull back up to lock onto your eyes, she has essentially given you the blueprint to her thoughts. In that split second, she isn't just looking at your face. She is picturing exactly what it would be like to touch those lips. It is a moment of pure, unfiltered visualization, where she is mentally placing you in an intimate scenario. This back and forth eye contact serves a dual purpose. It is a way for her to maintain a thin veil of composure while her mind is clearly wandering into increasingly erotic territory. She is checking to see if you are noticing her, while at the same time she is building the tension between you. It is a silent dialogue. When she looks at you with that intensity, she is inviting you to mirror her, to hold the space, and to acknowledge the unspoken connection that is building. This is the moment where the attraction is no longer a hidden secret. It is a shared reality. When you notice this specific type of eye contact, the dilation, the lingering, and the rhythmic flickering, the chemistry has already hit its peak. She is no longer just waiting to see if you are interested. She is actively signaling that she is already there with you, mentally and physically. Do not make the mistake of looking away or breaking that connection too quickly. Instead, meet her gaze with calm confidence. Hold that contact, maintain your focus, and acknowledge the intensity of the moment. By engaging with her eyes in the same way she is engaging with you, you are confirming that you see her desire and that you are ready to move from the visual phase into the physical reality of the interaction. The most important thing to internalize is that a woman will rarely walk up to you and explicitly state her desires in, quote, plain language. She doesn't need to because her body is already doing the heavy lifting for her. When you see her biting her lips, brushing against you, swaying her hips with intent, or holding that intense, dilated gaze, she is not sending you hints. She is handing you a green light. These are not coincidences, and they are not accidental quirks of personality. They are deliberate biological invitations that are specifically designed to be noticed by a man who knows what to look for. When these signals align, she is essentially inviting you to take control of the situation and bridge the final gap between you. The trap that most men fall into is hesitation. They see the signs, but they talk themselves out of it. They wonder if they are misreading the room, or they wait for a more obvious sign that might never come, because the woman is already doing everything she can to tell you she is ready. By the time you notice these cues, work of attraction has already been done. The stage is set, the tension is high, and the momentum is waiting for you to capitalize on it. If you step back or act unsure, you are essentially signaling that you aren't ready to lead, which can cause that window of opportunity to slam shut. The moment you recognize these patterns, you have to decide that you are no longer going to be the man who misses out. You need to step up with absolute, unshakable confidence. This does not mean you need to be aggressive or over the top. It means being decisive. When you recognize the signals, treat them as the clear communication they are. Move forward with the understanding that she has already laid the groundwork for this interaction to escalate. Whether it is closing the physical distance, taking her hand, or holding her gaze, your role is to validate what she is already communicating. You are the one who turns the maybe into a reality, and you do that by acting decisively when the cues appear. Ultimately, your ability to read these signs is your biggest competitive advantage in the world of attraction. You are no longer guessing, and you are no longer left in the dark about what she wants. You are now equipped with the ability to see the truth behind her nonverbal behavior. Use this knowledge to move through your interactions with purpose and clarity. When the signs appear, trust your gut. Stay present and move forward with the calm, quiet strength of a man who knows exactly what is happening. The invitation has been extended. It is time for you to accept it.